Hi, Kate here from the Safeguarding Academy and welcome to this week's 5-Minute Masterclass. This week we're continuing on our discussion around prevent, and we've looked at what the prevent duty is, and we've also looked at who the prevent duty applies to. This week I really want to have a discussion with you about what the prevent duty covers. Because when I talk to professionals, there is a misconception about the particular affiliation we talk about in relation to radicalisation. Prevent came about because of the 7/7 attacks in London and the fear that within the UK borders there were homegrown terrorists and young people being disaffected and radicalised, particularly into Islam. And we hear an awful lot on the news about Islamic State, the ways they are using to radicalise young people, so through the use of video, through the use of social media, and other such avenues. And it's very easy as a professional to think that prevent only applies to those young people who are being radicalised into Islam. Now, to some extent, that is true. That the reason prevent came about was because of the concern around radicalisation into extreme Islamic views that were leading young people to join organisations or commit acts of terror in the name of that faith. However, for most of us, we are unlikely to see radicalisation via Islam. What we're more likely to see is radicalisation into strong political parties, or into other faiths. So, for example, you may find that you have a young person who is presenting with extreme views in relation to UK borders, in relation to who has the right to work in the UK, and they may be in a position where they're being radicalised by white British, very strong right-wing leaning groups. So, for example, that could be the likes of the British National Party, the English Defence League, who are very right-wing groups. It could be any other group of political affiliation that has similar views. Prevent applies equally to that. In addition, whilst we think of radicalisation into a religious situation, and again, the situation that comes to mind are those being radicalised into Islam, for most of us we're not going to see that. What we might find is that wherever we live, there may be a radicalisation into very strong, very strict Christian views. There may be very strong, very strict Jewish views, or any other religion in relation to that situation. It doesn't have to be just Islam or Muslims that become radicalised. And it's important to remember that when you're looking at the duty, because to forget that means that you could miss an entire sector of people who are equally being radicalised into committing acts of terror, but they are homegrown and white British. If you want to know more about prevent and feel that you need or would like to have some certification that you have done a prevent course, then have a look at thesafeguardingacademy.com for our online introduction to prevent, which looks at this subject in more detail. Until next week, thank you very much.